Alright, so I just got done watching Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 1, and I'm going to be talking about it in my unscripted series called Sus Thoughts that I made months ago, but I haven't done in a bit. So, due to the fact there is no clips on the internet, I'm going to have to go through the plot by looking, as you can see down here on Disney Plus, and I can't record the screen because it won't let me because of copyright or whatever. Recording software doesn't let me. And frankly, the plot was too forgettable for me to remember. So, here's how I'm going to do this series. I'm going to make this episode, which will be episode 1, which I'll go through the plot and say what was good and bad, where I think the show's going, and then when the show ends, I'll just make a final thoughts without going through the plot, as thoroughly. So, what was my verdict on this? First of all, the first episode was better. Second episode was worse. I wanted this to be really good, but frankly, it was pretty mixed. A lot of bad stuff in it, frankly. But I'll say why. And also, I'm eating a hash brown right now, so you're gonna hear food noises, which I'll preview right now. It's like an ASMR. Okay. So let's get started. It starts with Revenge of the Sith and stuff from the prequels. Well, I was like, hey, they're actually acknowledging the prequels exist. Maybe Disney's coming around. Then you have like a pretty crappy lightsaber fight. Then it goes to Tatooine, which looked pretty good. You know, it looked pretty Star Wars-y, which was surprising. Then the Inquisitors come, and we're introduced to this pretty poorly written scene. The dialogue was pretty cheesy. A lot of like pseudo-intellectual villain stuff. It wasn't that impressive. I think this is the scene where the Grand Inquisitor first sets up that the third sister lady is not following his orders, and she's becoming increasingly obsessed with Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is never fully explained other than the fact that she wants like a promotion really, or credit, but at the same time she's continuously disobeying his orders and he does nothing to stop it. Keep that one in mind. Then we're introduced to our main man, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who looks pretty good. He doesn't look like weird and old. He looks pretty decent, so that's good. I like the soundtrack in this scene, and basically the whole show had a good soundtrack. And we get the scene with the Jawa, where he's basically getting ripped off, but I guess he's being nice, so he's not saying anything. Then he goes, checks up on Owen, gives him a gift. Then this Jedi guy comes, and then Obi-Wan's kind of all, oh, the Jedi are dead. And I was like, this sounds like Last Jedi. But you know what? I guess all his friends died, so it's like, okay, if he grows from here, and he has some significance from the growth, then it's fine. Then this is where my worries start. Big time. We're introduced to a young Princess Leia, which I frankly don't like the idea of them making another Princess Leia performance. I think Carrie Fisher's is like far too iconic to be rebooted, you know, especially as a young girl, because, you know, child actors are always hit or miss. And the best thing about this scene was the visuals were quite good for a Disney show, and Bail Organa was fun to watch. He was my favorite. By the way, it looks like Obi-Wan's making some like sushi or something. Then we get this kind of weird scene where Uncle Owen acts like a prick to Obi-Wan. It's like, don't come around my son or whatever. You know, his nephew, Luke. And he's like, oh yeah, he's gonna stay on the farm forever, basically. Like, okay, dude. Alright, I mean, I don't know why you're so hostile. Someone has like a freaking power problem in the family, I guess. Then we have this lady here again, who basically, it's a tense scene where she threatens to kill Owen. But then the Inquisitors stop her again, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why are the bad characters so hesitant to kill anybody? That's not how I remember dark side users being. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. This scene where she gets pushed against the wall reads pretty preachy. She's talked about how she's impulsive, but you know what? I don't think it's too bad because she is like showing signs of impulse a little bit, but there are dark side users. I mean, they're going to kill people. I don't really get it. I guess they're trying to make like a point about women being told by men they're impulsive. Then we get this scene, which is also a little weird. We have like Princess Leia being bullied by her cousin, and she's like really eloquent, and he's like really, really not eloquent, and comes off as very weak. So I was like, what's going on? This is like soap opera melodrama. But this scene was good. Bail Organa like talks to his daughter, which was nice. Then she runs off and gets kidnapped by a actor that I can only describe as an acquired taste. This guy is weird. He doesn't, look at him. Does this look like a Star Wars character? I thought he was Malcolm McDowell at first, but I don't think he is. It doesn't look like him. Then we get a hilarious chase scene where like a 10-year-old tiny girl is somehow outrunning 3 grown men. Weird. Then Obi-Wan gets a call from Bail Organa and he's like, no, I don't want to help. But I thought that was dumb once again. I feel like he should have emphasized his commitment to Luke rather than saying like he's not the man he once was. Second thought, think back to Force Awakens, where Rey beats Kylo, never having used Force powers or a lightsaber, but somehow Obi-Wan, who is a super trained Jedi, isn't like in a war for 10 years, and isn't using many powers, yet somehow he's totally incapable this whole show? I don't know. I wonder why they made it like that. Then Bail Organa visits him, convinces him, and he basically gets his old lightsaber and Anakin's lightsaber. Then the show ends. It was like a decent first episode. It was definitely nothing that blew my like socks off. Sorry, I gotta eat a little bit. But you know what? It was okay. Second episode, I wouldn't class as very good. It was like not that great. This one starts with the Jedi being like hung up. Oh wait, sorry, no. That was from the last episode. This one starts with him on this new planet that, you know what, looked pretty decent. It actually looked like pretty Star Wars-y, a little too like wide shots, and it was a little, I don't know. It wasn't perfect, definitely not as good as episodes 1 through 6 portraying the Star Wars world, but then we get to this lady. I want you all to look. Tell me this woman looks like she's from the Star Wars universe. And you barely can see her in this picture, but no. This does not look like Star Wars at all. The way she's dressed, she looks like someone on the way to a protest. She does not look like she's from the Star Wars universe at all. Then she tells Obi-Wan that, a bunch of women are kidnapped here, and he's never gonna find, or a bunch of children. Then we get this absolute L of a scene with an L of an actor. Kumail Nanjiani, in my opinion, is pretty insufferable, very, I don't know, he thinks he's way funnier and cooler than he is. We basically get a fraud Jedi who is played for laughs constantly. It's just dumb. It's straight out of, like, the MCU. It just doesn't fit with Star Wars at all. We get this part, and then Obi-Wan calls him like a rat, and that means he knows about the underworld, so I guess he does. And then Obi-Wan goes, finds her, and you know what? I was actually shocked. Obi-Wan actually outsmarted someone in this show, so he outsmarted the baddies. Saved Princess Leia. Yeah, then the third sister comes and tells them how bad of a job they're doing. Then this scene, which was so stupid, the Grand Inquisitor corners the third sister, and he's like, "You continuously disobey my orders." And I don't know, there's some reason why he's mad at her. Now I was saying, okay, this is the part where she dies, because this guy is an Inquisitor. He's not going to take shit from nobody. He's going to kill her and replace her, because that's what a dark side user would do. However, he gives a very, very preachy speech that's supposed to be like anti-racist. He basically calls this black woman, he calls her like filth or something, like from the gutter or something like that, and it's supposed to be like anti-racism or whatever. But here's the problem with this. In the Star Wars universe, she would be superior to him. She is a human. His species is, let me search it up here. He is a Pauan. Now in the Empire, there is no racism against black people, because there is no black people in the Star Wars universe. She's just a human. She, in the Empire's racial hierarchy, is the superior one, because the Empire basically only hires humans, with few exceptions like the Grand Inquisitor. So, despite this speech being incredibly preachy and unnecessary, attacking her, like, her species or something, it doesn't make any sense, because in the Star Wars universe, he is the one that's inferior. She should be telling him he's inferior to her on terms of, like, species. So it makes no sense, and it just goes to prove that Disney knows nothing about Star Wars and is more concerned with putting their agenda on full display for some reason. You can, like, do an anti-racism message in Star Wars, and there's, like, plenty of that in the old movies. It's not, like, as hard, heavy-handed and in your face. It's more subtle, and you have to do some thinking about it, and it's more meaningful, and it's not, like, done just for diversity points. But this is not it, because it doesn't make any sense. They're stomping on the universe to say that this black woman is being oppressed. So I'm like, this is where the Grand Inquisitor is going to kill her, because there's no way the Grand Inquisitor is going to tolerate being smashed up by this subordinate, because he's the leader of the Inquisitors. But no, he just lets her off and says, "Oh, we'll punish you later." And what do you know? She puts out a hit on Obi-Wan and the girl, disobeying his orders again. And of course, they run around, and then all of a sudden, Leia turns on Obi-Wan and says, "You're not a real Jedi," and runs away from him. in perhaps the stupidest move I've ever seen. Even for a kid that was dumb. She doesn't act like a kid that's been abused or kidnapped. A kid that's been kidnapped and abused at such a young age would not be so brave, would not be running around like a crazy lady trying to escape. She would be very scared, and she would be really attached to Obi-Wan because he's helping her. But no. Then there's this chase ensues where the third sister lady becomes basically a Matrix character and is jumping around like crazy. Obi-Wan doesn't use any of his force powers. I see why he doesn't use a lightsaber, but you can definitely use your force powers to push people off like a ledge. Then he finally uses his force powers to save Leia from falling. Then this absolute L of a character, the fake Jedi dude, comes out and saves them, which I was like, okay, fine. But then the Inquisitor, the third sister lady, she interrogates him, basically reads his mind with so much ease, like she's the most powerful lady in the universe. And then she doesn't kill him for some reason. Why is she leaving all these people alive? You are a dark side user. You should be killing everybody right now that gets in your way. No. Apparently not. Then the Inquisitor lady finds them, and then the Grand Inquisitor comes, and then he gets killed because he's too stupid and weak to realize that she is trying to replace him. So yeah, and then only because she kills him, they get away. And then Darth Vader is introduced, which scares the crap out of me because I don't know what they're doing here. This might be a really bad show. Alright, but that's the plot summary. Let's get into it. Now, I wanted this movie to be really... Sorry, not movie. I wanted this show to be really good, but with a caveat. I think this mass market Star Wars thing they're doing the same thing with Marvel. They're making it even more mass market. Just keep pumping out content. Keep doing it. The the quality just isn't there. They're rushing it. The budget isn't there. That's why lots of this stuff doesn't look like Star Wars. Like, think of that Boba Fett show that people were saying, like, okay, this doesn't even look like a Star Wars thing. Because the budget's not there, the writers are not there, the directors are incompetent, nothing looks like Star Wars. So I prefer if they would just make movies that people would get hyped for, wait for, and that they would actually be written by people that like Star Wars, not like this lady here, Kathleen Kennedy, that somehow isn't fired yet for destroying one of the greatest franchises in history in both a financial and fan base way. Like, the sequel should have made way more money, but each film declined in box office. Sorry, let me eat some. But quality is what we're talking about here. And she's just interested in pushing her own agenda and staying in power as long as she can. Here's the main problem with this show. Not the heavy-handed lectures it gives, because that was kind of expected. I was expecting this from the show. I was hoping it wouldn't, but apparently it did. The problem is Obi-Wan essentially doesn't feel like the main character. He feels like a main character, but nobody's really getting their moment to shine. The dialogue is poorly written and oftentimes pretentious from the villains. The Grand Inquisitor is not the main character, and he was killed immediately in the first 2 episodes. Or 2 parts of the first episode. Apparently Hayden Christensen was Vader at the end there, which I already knew. I don't know why I'm saying apparently, so maybe Darth Vader will be good, but I don't like them. Why are they even doing this, really? See, if you look at Darth Vader in the other shows like Rebels, A, he was animated, and B, he was used very sparingly in a very logical way. This time, I don't know. But back to Obi-Wan, played by Ewan McGregor. I thought Ewan, he kind of gave a bit of a sleepy performance, but it was good to see him on screen nonetheless. I thought he was definitely the best out of all the actors. I thought the Grand Inquisitor was poorly written dialogue. I felt the third sister was, I don't know, a bit, it was like she was emoting the performance of a very angry dark side user, but then she wouldn't kill anybody, so it just fell short. Then the worst performance was Kumail Nanjiani with that fake Jedi loser. That guy was an idiot. Then Uncle Owen was just an asshole for some reason. Whatever. Just all around, the writing was not great. But I will say this, it could improve. It really can improve if it does a better story sometime, because I feel like there's some intriguing things going on there. Like bringing in Bail Organa is cool and stuff, but if this is just gonna be a story of chasing Obi-Wan, I mean, do we really need to see that? Kind of makes New Hope feel a bit weird as well. And of course there's the Princess Leia actress, which was not the best. She was kind of just like a dumb character, and yet she was somehow so sassy and like got the upper hand on every character in terms of dialogue. But I don't know, why are they like trying to compete with Carrie Fisher's Leia performance, and why? I hope they don't bring in Luke. Seriously. I don't know if they will, because they're probably going to focus on the female character, because that's what they like to do. But in this case, I think it's actually a really good thing, because they're probably going to find a way to like ruin Leia a little bit. But you know what? The best way to view Disney Star Wars is this. Just pretend it's not canon. Just pretend you're just watching any other show, like a fan fiction. And then it becomes okay. But anyway, that basically sums up my thoughts. I would like to talk about it a bit more, but frankly, it wasn't that memorable, so I have a hard time remembering a lot of the scenes. And I have a really good memory, and I just watched the show like 20 minutes ago and just went upstairs to make this. But yeah, I don't know. It was mixed. Like, some good ideas. The production quality was way better than the other shows they've made for Star Wars so far. I don't know what they're doing though. This is just, it's sad. They haven't ruined Obi-Wan yet, but I hope they're just not gonna make him this weak guy the whole show, you know? And the villain seems so poorly motivated. She wants a promotion. She's probably gonna get it now. She killed the Grand Inquisitor. Maybe she'll become the next one. But why is she so obsessed with Obi-Wan? And why did the show portray Obi-Wan? Oh yeah, this was so stupid. I like literally was like, what? At the end, where she reveals that Darth Vader is alive, the people of the Empire don't know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. In fact, Darth Vader isn't... Nobody knows who he is. They don't know that Anakin Skywalker is Vader. Anakin Skywalker was just like a Jedi that died. And she somehow knows Anakin is Vader. That was BS. That was stupid, and it was just... They don't even understand the universe or the lore. That's not what happened. And then another thing is that the film plays it like Obi-Wan is this famous Jedi and everybody knows him everywhere. Like, they put the bounty on him, and everyone's like, that's Obi-Wan, or whatever. And a bunch of people throughout the movies just know Obi-Wan. Throughout the show, I should say. And this is just not true. Like, the Jedi were not that famous on a person-to-person basis. In fact, this show did a bad job of portraying the fact that there's hatred to the Jedi. And also, this show did a bad job of portraying that there would be a lot of propaganda against the Jedi, and like most people would be against them. But no, doesn't seem like anybody cares. Think about Rogue One and how that film didn't really bring the Jedi in. There was just the one Force user who I forget his name, but he was cool. You know, the one with the Force guy. But that guy was like a deadbeat, you know? He wasn't a Jedi, he was just like, had some light power in the Force. But in this universe, it's pushed way too hard that the Jedi are famous and they're everywhere or whatever. Yeah. I gotta go eat my fat brown. No, I was gonna say, I gotta go eat my hash brown because I'm a fat man now, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, so it's a bit of a haphazard video, not super high quality. I'm sure nobody will even watch it, but I don't know. I just wanted to give my thoughts, and then at the end I'll probably make a better video talking about this. But for now, that will do. And there's no real point of watching it. The ratings are way higher than they should be, but a lot of these people are like Twitter stans that obsess over the sequels. Look, content. Clearly this person has never seen a Kubrick movie or really any great movie if they thought the cinematography was amazing. It was good. The best thing about this is when Obi-Wan found out Anakin was alive and a tear came to his eye. That was pretty nice. I'm gonna watch the show, but a lot of these reviews have it right. I wouldn't say it's a 1 star, but it's like about a 2.5, I'd say, or 2. Yeah. So, the 5 stars are freaking BS. Have these people seen a Star Wars movie? Whatever. Okay, see ya.